What's up, toppers? It's your host, Treasurer Cassidy here with another episode of Hilltalk. Today, we're going to talk about mental health and all the different resources available here at Science Hill. Here with me are our very own care counselors, Ms. Turner, Ms. Lily, and Ms. Kaya. So, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what led you here to be a care counselor?
I'm Ms. Kaya. Prior to becoming a care counselor, I was a school counselor at the elementary level, and I love my little babies. But I went into school counseling because I really enjoyed connecting with kids and helping them build self-confidence and believe in themselves, and the mental health component as well as just the social component, and helping kids become who they're meant to be and supporting the whole child. And so when I saw care counseling pop up, I was like, that sounds what I want from school counseling even more. And so here I am, and I love it, and I'm happy to be here. Go Toppers.
Ms. Turner?
Hi, I'm Susan Turner. I go by Miss Turner. I have a bachelor's of social work and a master's in marriage and family therapy, and soon to be licensed school counselor. But I have over 20 plus years working in child welfare, especially with kids and family in the foster care system. I've worked from West Virginia, and Tennessee. I left Department of Children's Services back in 2022, I think. And so I just wanted to continue to work with kids and utilize helping them get better mental health and overall better well-beings. I wanted to come to be a school, to be a care counselor just for representation, so that kids could have somebody that looked like them, same background, cultural diversity, and it just makes it easier, I think, for kids to come and talk to, and it makes it easier for parents to be able to relate. So, and I love it here. So, yeah.
Ms. Lily?
Okay, so my name is Liliana Cincio, but I go by Miss Lily, and my background is in social work. So my bachelor's is in social work, and then I went and got my master's in social work as well. And so what led me to be a care counselor? Originally, I wanted to be a school counselor, but then I saw 8 years, master's. Yeah, I can do that. I'm going to pick something else. So I picked social work. And I've only worked with adults prior to coming here to Science Hill. I worked with families and adults, low income. I worked at Good Sam. I worked at Over Mountain Recovery in a methadone clinic as a case manager, and then I moved to a therapist. And so I've always wanted to work with middle and high school kids. And so I'm here. There was an opportunity. I took it. I figured it would be really well because kids need guidance. I needed guidance. I wanted to be what I needed when I was in high school for other high schoolers. And the fact that I speak English and Spanish only helps because this school is so diverse. And it's needed. It's a big need. And I'm really happy to be here. I have 2 awesome coworkers, and I couldn't ask for any more.
Thank you. So, where are you all located in the building?
We are inside the library, right directly across from Topper Tech. So when you come in the library, if you take a quick right, you'll see our office right there. And we really like being in the library because I think it gives kids some type of privacy when they come. People don't really know. You could be coming to the library, you could be checking out a book, you could be going to Topper Tech, you could be coming to see us, or you could be taking a shortcut to go see attendance. So I think it gives them that kind of realm of privacy. So we really advocated to stay where we are. And administration listened, and so that's where we are, and we hope to stay where we are.
So, what types of social, emotional, and mental support do you offer to the students?
We provide everything from a quick, I just need 5 minutes to calm down, and we give you that space. And, if it's listening to music or doing a quick puzzle, whatever it might be that gets you to get ready to go back to class. That's one thing that we do. We also provide individual counseling. And so if you need to come and just sit and talk for a good 20, 30 minutes, that's what we're here for. And that can continue on for a while, depending on what your goals are and what it is that you feel like you really need to process and talk about. We do a little bit of groups here and there, but that's not our bread and butter. But we're here to listen and to support and help you reach your goals ultimately.
And to love on kids.
Yes. Love on kids. That's the best part.
Yes.
And also equip them with some coping skills that they may need throughout the day, even like if they've had a session with Miss Kaya and maybe it was a quick check-in, but I think we have a good sense of our students that we may need to be like, hey, here's like some sour candy to take with you in case you feel that anxiety coming back up, or a little sticker to help you with breathing techniques. So also equipping students with some coping skills that they may need.
That's good. So how can students reach out to you if they need help or need to come in contact with you?
Well, there's several ways. One is, they can check in with their school counselor and then they're, say, hey, this is my issue. If they can resolve it right then and there, well, then that's what, okay, that's where. And then if it's more, then they get referred to us on a referral list and just quickly, hey, check in with the student. They're overwhelmed, the transition or whatever the issue is. And then one of us takes them and we check in with them, make sure they're okay. Sometimes they're like, yeah, I just was having a bad day and that's all I needed. Or sometimes there's more and we just continue checking in on them as needed. And so the other way is that they can come to us directly too. They find our office and then they can come and just say, hey, I need to talk to someone. And then whoever's available at the moment, we'll take them and we just go from there.
We also are by the outside doors at lunch duty every day. And so that's a really great way to introduce yourselves to us. We love to say hi. We love to get to know all the kids, not just the ones who come to us for counseling. So come talk to us.
What are some common issues students come to you with and how do you help them?
Some of the common themes that we have, Science Hill is huge. It's a big school. It's like being on a college campus. So you have a lot of kids that are anxiety, the crowds, the moving, to trying to find your niche or your group of people, your tribe. And so I think that's one of the most common things we have. Yeah.
Worries and feelings of anxiety is pretty broad. So it's everything from academics to peer interactions. Like it's so big, but generally it's a lot of worry, a lot of feelings of sadness. If you're feeling sad, you're not alone, I promise.
All right. So what's the difference between a care counselor and a therapist?
Ultimately, it comes down to the level of training. So care counselors are master level, meaning we've gone to school for counseling or therapy in some aspect, but therapists have more licensure and more training after graduation. And so with that, we can still talk to you, we can still support you through counseling, but we're not going to diagnose you with anything. We're not going to bill your insurance. We're for free. I don't know. What else am I missing? I think our sessions, just because we're in school, the nature tends to be shorter. Therapy, you go once a week for about an hour. I'm not going to take you from class for an hour. Sorry. I want you to be in class and learning. So generally, we tend to be a little bit more brief in our sessions compared to therapy.
You all mentioned that you worked in different, I guess, pathways relating to this field. How is it with working at a hospital or let's dive deep into the career itself for people that are interested? How is it working at a hospital or I don't know, what are some other places?
It's very different in the aspect that we also, if you're in a therapeutic setting, you have to do notes, you have to keep case notes, you have to and we don't do all that. We have, okay, we saw you this time. We kind of just memorize what we saw you for, what we talked about, and we pick up from there. Versus in a therapeutic setting, you have case notes. You refer back to those case notes and you have a file of them and all their background and their past history and their, you know, if they've been somewhere else in another mental health facility and things like that. You have a file of all of that. We do not. We just go off our memory or I'll ask Miss Kai, do you remember this? Or I'll ask Miss Turner, do you remember this? And or do you know, so that is also a big difference. Like we don't keep case notes. We don't have any of that. We just kind of go off our memory.
Is that like a lot of pressure for all of you, considering the fact that we are a huge school?
I don't feel pressure.
I don't feel pressured either. I think for us, because we are here and we do have our students and the ones that we do see on a regular basis, you kind of remember what you talked about. It may not be in grave detail because we like I said, Miss Lily said, we don't keep notes, but we kind of remember. And if not, students are quick to say, hey, remember last time I was telling you about so and so and so and so, and then that'll like trigger a memory for you. And then, you know, I think we've all been in this field in a different aspect, in a different capacity. So, you know, like keywords and key phrases that's going to trigger like the memory and what you talked about and what you need to talk about. So, yeah.
And if I forget something, you know, I like to give my students the benefit of the doubt. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to remember every detail all the time. And so I'd like to think they extend that grace back to me.
I always like to tell them, like, you can correct me if I'm wrong because I can be wrong. Yeah. Like, you're allowed to tell me, no, that's not what happened. It was like this. And I'm like, okay, yes. So
that humanly factor that you guys are also human as well.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for students who might be hesitant to seek help?
Don't be. I tell people that all the time. Therapy is not a scary thing. I think we need to break down the stigma of getting help and getting therapy. I think getting help is a healthy thing. It's the right thing. So we want you to come and get help. If you're not comfortable going to your school counselor or your teacher, or send us an email and say, I really need to talk to somebody. We're going to come and get you. We're going to give you the help that you need. And if it's beyond what any three of us can do, we're going to steer you in the right direction to go above and beyond. But I just want to break down that stigma, that stereotype of, oh, if you get help, you're weak, or we don't do that. You know, no, we need help. Everybody needs help.
My advice would be to remember that you are cared for. Like, we are here because we care about you. Care counseling, spot on with the name. Yeah. But, you know, coming to talk to somebody is really vulnerable, and it takes courage, but we are here to cheerlead you and help you find that courage.
Yeah, in any way, capacity that you allow us. Another thing is, it's not always so intense. It's not always about serious issues and matters and things that happened in the past. Sometimes it's just building rapport. Like, we bring a student in and they don't know us. And I always tell them, like, you don't know me. Like, you don't trust me. And that's okay. But I'm here to check in on you and to let you know that we're here as a support. Like, use us. Please use us.
Yeah.
Like, we're here just to be here.
We've got like Legos and Jenga and stuff to make it less awkward when you're like,
we got Uno. Yeah. Like what?
Yeah.
Yes. Our room is very inviting. So please come.
You all are very inviting in general. Like, the vibes are very good. They're great people to come to and talk to, and great people to learn from, especially. So
yes,
you're welcome. You're welcome, of course. So how can teachers and parents support students' social and emotional needs?
That's such a big question.
I always like to say, yes, communication. And for teachers, because they're learning too, new students, new classroom, new role, new everybody. So I just like to say, when the new students walk in that door, just expect that there's trauma walking through. So give everybody that kind of kindness and grace, because everybody has a story. We don't know what kids are dealing with when they leave here or before they got here. So I just like to say like that, just expect traumas in the room and handle with care. A smile, some compassion. Teachers know students sometimes better than we do. So if they can see that drastic change in behavior, demeanor, dress, a simple, hey, let me take you outside. You don't have to do it in front of everybody. What's happened to you? Is there anything that's going on you want to talk about? Just be compassionate, be empathetic. Yeah.
And the big thing is we want teachers to know that if we're pulling a kid from your class, like we're not doing it just to do it. Like we really, it really is most of the time an emergency and it's something important. And we're not saying that, we try not to pull from core classes only in matter of emergencies. So we just want everybody to know that we're just here. We're here as support for teachers and students. So.
That's a big one, teachers and students. I did not know that. So what are some signs that a student might need to seek help, and what should they do if they notice these signs in themselves or a friend?
If you notice that you're feeling less motivated and less excited by things that have previously brought you a lot of joy, or you feel like you're sleeping too much or you're not eating as well as you used to, I think those are some signs that maybe you're feeling overwhelmed by something. And that could be something to come talk to us about and figure out more what's going on.
Or the physical symptoms. You feel like your heart's just beating constantly. You're sweating. Say it's a class and you go in there and you just like, you can't breathe. Your thoughts are racing. Like you're not okay. And most of the time they go to the nurse for that. And the nurse is like, hey, can you pull the student? Think it's some anxiety, but we just want to make sure. So there's a lot.
Can you share any success stories where students have benefited from the support you've provided?
I'll let Miss Kaya take this one.
I always feel really, really proud when I see a student. Oh, how do I want to say it? When I see them grow their confidence. And so sometimes that looks like pulling the hoodie back. Sometimes that looks like talking to people that you wouldn't normally talk to and getting out of your comfort zone in that way, or just walking with your shoulders back and like coming into your own. And so that's a very, very vague example, but that's always my cue of, oh, that person has grown. Like that person feels more comfortable in their own skin. And that's what I'm always most proud of.
I would go back to last year, the letter that we got that was written to all of us. And this student wasn't even on any of our caseloads. It was just a student that we talked to every day, interacted with every day. They had a little situation. Me and Miss Lily talked to them. This is what can happen, what can't happen. This is how you need to handle this, use these techniques. And so at the end, they were graduating and they wrote us a letter and said that we made a big difference in their life and the outcome of how things came and how we were needed here at Science Hill. They wish we had been here sooner rather than later, but we're here. And I think that just solidified the role that we did here. I mean, and this is a student that, didn't even come see us, wasn't on our caseloads. It was just casual conversation, and that just lets you know how much communication or, hey, how's your day going? Or
We also offered snacks, so that might have
yeah,
had something to do with it.
I'm not above bribery.
yeah. Them Pop-Tarts get them every time. But
Yeah, they do. They're very popular.
yeah. I will say this for me, one of the hardest things, and I've told these two wonderful coworkers that I have, like this year's been kind of hard because the students that we did have, you can see that growth and them not needing us. And I'm like, okay, like this one hasn't came by. This one hasn't came by. It's like, hey, I'm good. I'm like, okay, I know. Like, we should take a little, some pride in like they've utilized what we've given them and they're grown and they're adapting and they're doing so well. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, can we get our babies back?
Aw.
Yeah. So
I love the emotional connection that you guys have with this job. It's a really amazing field, one that you can set a difference in somebody else's life, but you can also take something as well with you.
For me, I had a lot of seniors graduate last year. And so like when, we were new to this, we didn't know. We just kind of, here's a list, go. And we did. And so I got to see I saw from the very beginning, from August and I got to see them graduate, and I was so happy, and I miss them. I miss some of my seniors. There's about 8 that I got to see a lot of growth in, and I hope they're doing well. I wish them all the best, and just I really did try to, like, hey, you asked for help. You made a lot of progress. I try to remind them of all the things, and I want you to continue. Like, there's resources out there when you go to college, and, navigating all of that, because it doesn't end at high school, right? It only gets, the pressure only keeps going. So I try to plant those seeds, and I try to encourage them a lot. Like, hey, continue this. Even if it's not with me, just continue this. And I hope, I know they're doing well. I know they're doing well, but I do miss them. And so our freshmen from last year, they're sophomores this year, and if they keep us here, hopefully keep us, please. Yes, we'll be here as long as they tell us we're not, but we get to see a lot of growth, and then we'll get to see them from freshmen to seniors, and when they graduate, I know we're gonna be crying. We're cheering them on, but we're gonna shed some tears, because we'll be happy.
We're proud of you guys.
Yes, we're proud of all of them. All of
you.
them. Yes, proud of.
Well, thank you, all of you remarkable staff that are here with us today on Hilltalk. That was great information, and I love sitting here having this great conversation with all of you. Thank you, Hilltalk, for joining us today, and that's to top it off on today's episode. Have a good day. Okay, that's a wrap.